My name is Milan, and I will be working through some chess material. It's a challenge to all of you. I'm going to work through Arthur Yusupov books, the Orange series specifically, and the first book will be Fundamentals, Building Your Chess, and there's 24 chapters. So hopefully in 24 days, if we're disciplined, we can work through this. So it'll be hopefully 24 lessons. The first one being chapter 1, Mating Motifs. So let's get going. With this is the first example. So the idea is that we work through examples, and then after the examples we have exercises. For the exercise, I recommend that you have a chessboard, piece of paper, a pen, and you want to write down the solutions. And after you've written down the solutions, only then you look at the solutions and give yourself some marks. Okay, so let's try and get this going. Because the first one, there's white finds a forced mate, so it's really about just playing it out, and it's going to be rook to d8, and it's a check, and then king in this game was to g7, and then it's rook to d7, another check, and king to f6, and then rook to f8, check, and then king to e5, rook to e8, check, king to f4, and then rook to d4, king to g3, and rook to I think it was e3, checkmate. Because this was the actual game, that's why it might not be forced move. So this was a Lasker May game, because that was the first example. Specifically here, it was mate along open lines. So it's all about open lines in this portion of the book. Okay, so we're still busy with the open files. So this was a Yusupov game, actually, 1997. And here the move from white was rook e5, which is threatening a mate in a few moves. As you can see, the king is quite exposed here. And then the rest of the game went, well, there was a couple of options. But at this stage, actually, black resigned. But example, I just going to go through maybe a line. Just going to take it back quickly. I'm just also trying to create some chapters to make it easier for us to go back into it. So it's on lead chess, so I've created some chapters for us. Okay, so yes, here it was, as you can see on the right hand side, it's actually saying it's the Arthur Yusupov game, and then the move was, according to that game, rook e5, and no games found, of course, because the opponent resigned. But then as example, we can have, I suppose, a continuation. And the continuation, let's do the one. It's going to be rook on d7 to try and protect the king. And then it's rook g5, check, king h7, queen g6, check. Of course, there's quicker way maybe as well. And then it's king h8, and then rook h5. Poor rook is coming in on h7, and then rook take that. So it's all about the open files in this one. So it was all about using the open files to threaten the king. Now this is going to be a fun one. This is looking at Anastasia Mate, where we use combinations, or well-known combinations, to force mate. Okay, great. So Anastasia Mate. And this one is going to be black to play. And the first move will be knight e2, the check coming in. And then it's king h1. And then the fun one where it's queen take h2, a nice sacrifice. Now at this stage already we might see that the black knight is covering the g1 and the g3 square. King is taking h2. And then I want to say the fun finish where it's going to be rook h4 checkmate. Okay, so quite a fun mate to be aware of. I'm just going to quickly go through this again. So this was a Gast Bent game, as you can see on the right hand side maybe. So the knight has to get into the position where he can get in the check and dominate and block these three, two blocks, the g1 and g3 square. Then the queen opening up and the rook sneaking in for the checkmate. Okay, let's get another example. Because here we have another example also as black, game from 1936. So it's black to play, remember. So we're looking for that position with a Anastasia Mate where we can secure the g1 and the g3 with a knight. So that's the idea. So here we go. So we've got the black moving in, knight e2 check, and it's king h1. So the g1 and g3 squares are protected. Then we've got this fun move where the queen takes the knight on g4 to open up the squares. We've got h taking the g4. Again, it's a fun move where we've got the rook on going to h5 on the check, which is quite fun. Then it's g takes the rook, and then the final move is where the rook can come in on h4. So that's the theme. Anastasia Mate is to get the knight into the right position, to force the king such a way that the g1 and g3 is blocking him, and then getting a way to get a check in along that open file. Okay, great stuff. We're moving on to a next theme. Next theme being the Arabian Mate. It's also black to play. In this one, it's again a Yusupov game, and it was the move. The starting move here was the rook takes f3. So that's going to be to prepare the discover check. And then g took, in this game, the g pawn took f3. Then the discover check is coming, where it's knight d4, king h1, knight takes f3. You can see trouble coming. At this stage is the typical situation for the Arabian Mate. And then after rook, I think it would have been rook g2. It can be rook d1, and then if it's rook g1, and it can be rook take g1. Okay, there we go. So that's your I want to almost say the formation of the Arabian Mate. So in other words, getting the knight in the right position and then forcing the mate. Quite a fun one. One for black to play, but the theme changed a bit. So the previous one was the Arabian Mate. This one is going to be a theme of the Queen Bishop Battery. So it's going to be from black. So the Queen Bishop Battery. But this is the idea of the 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 Queen Bishop Battery, the power. Another one for black. So again, it's going to be a the battery. So this case can be surely then the queen and the black bishop on the black side. Okay, so here the move was it was a game from 1977, and it was a knight take d4, and then it was e takes d4, and it's really the threat of the battery here that's the issue. It was knight takes c3, rook takes c3, and the piece was hanging, so you can score a piece, and it was mainly because of the battery that this was possible, as the pieces end up being hanging. Why? Because the knight can't move away. Okay, that was that one. Okay, a little bit change of theme. The theme's going to be the Queen Rook battery. This is going to be as white, and we might already guess if it's going to be as white, it's probably going to be about this H file coming in. So the move here is Queen H2, and then black doesn't have any defense against them sneaking in. I suppose you can move the queen in there, but otherwise the king is stuck. You can't move the rook out either. Okay, so that is just an example in a game in 1818. Okay, thanks for hanging in here. So we're going to just do two more exercise examples. The exercises we can leave for another video, just to make it a bit more manageable for us. Now this is Boden's Mate, which is quite an exciting one. This is where we must be aware that the king, it's going to be as black, so we must be aware that the king, castle, queen side. This was actually an 1860 match with Boden, so after his name, Boden, this theme. So Boden's Mate, queenside, king, castling. We've got the two bishops. We've got the queen on the black side. And here the move was d5, opening the black bishop, wanting to crisscross the king. So here, let's say, going to the bishop is taking d5. Then the spectacular sacrifice, queen takes c3, getting the bishop snuck in here, crisscrossing the poor king apart. Okay, so this is really a fun way of mating. So if you ever see this, you're in luck if you see this in a game. This one is for white to play. It was a 1989 game. Okay, so for white to play, so again the awareness that the king, castle, queen side, the awareness that you've got these two bishops lined up, and potentially going to crisscross the king. Okay, so white to move, white was moving to a6. Why? Because we want to get the bishop in there, so you can't really take that because then it's going to be checkmate. So move this move, and the move was queen c5, and then it was knight a4, queen e3, knight take e3, b takes a6, and we come in. So in this game, it wasn't, I think, a mate the way it was played, but it was because of the forcing of moves that Black ended up resigning. Okay, so the threats alone of Boden's mate forced Black to end up sacrificing pieces, and then the piece advantage made the difference. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. This was the Yusupov Art of Yusupov books. Amazing books. Please purchase them. I've purchased already the orange ones. I've worked through some of them already, but this is also for myself, to develop myself again, trying to get my game up again a little bit. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. See you in the next one, and remember to look out for the exercises as well.